Welcome. I'm B.A. Ingram. I've got another exciting topic for you that I hope is going to be helpful to you. Thank you so much for those who have contacted me, letting me know that the material I'm sharing has been helpful to you. So I appreciate that. I'm going to keep it coming your way. But I want to talk to you briefly about making this one necessary shift that's going to help you improve your outlook this year and for the years to come. I believe if you can get a hold of this and you make this shift and you make this change, your years are going to improve, all right? It doesn't matter what's happening, what's going on around us, what's going on in the world. It's all about how you respond to it, how you look at it, okay? So we want to talk about your mindset today. So some people may already be dismissing this, that what I'm sharing today is just too simple and too obvious. But listen, life has been and is designed to be simple. It's really not designed to be complex. We make it complex. We make it sophisticated. We make it hard. We make it challenging on ourselves. And it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't. Because it doesn't matter what's happening, what's going on. Really, it's all about your outlook, how you choose to look at it, how you choose to respond to it. But this one shift that I believe is going to help you, I believe it can potentially catapult your growth in the coming months and throughout the coming years. I believe it's a major driver behind the growth of many of the people that I work with, making this fundamental shift. So, what is this shift that I'm talking about? I am glad you asked. Go ahead and ask that in the comments right now. What is this shift that you're talking about? I want to talk to you simply about this important thing here, and I want you to listen very carefully. I want you to write this down. I want you to print this out, put this in big, bold letters. Put this up in the room, wherever you work, wherever you study, wherever you spend the most time, so you can always look at it and keep it for you. Here is the number one shift that I want you to start doing today, okay? It's learning to value yourself more. Can you say that with me? Learning to value yourself more. I oftentimes have to help my clients, family members, and even friends when we have conversations, because they get so hard on themselves. They get so critical on themselves. And the one thing I share to each and every one of them when they really want to get down on themselves and beat themselves down, I ask them this simple thing. Would you give your friend that same advice? Someone that you cherish, someone that you really hold dear. Would you really talk to them the same way you are talking to yourself now? Let that sink in for a moment. Because so many of us won't. We would not talk to our closest friend the way we talk to ourselves. We feel we got a right to just dog ourselves out. I'm here to tell you, you got to stop that. You don't need to do that. Because see, a lot of people don't value themselves enough because they have been taught not to. They have been trained and programmed to think of others before themselves. They've been trained and programmed will never think about you, what you want, what you need. Don't be selfish. How many of you heard those kind of things? I had a conversation with my coach today. I had him laughing because one of the things that he said, B, it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to put you first. It's okay to think about you. I say, yeah, I've learned that. I've learned that. You betcha. I've learned to put myself up, because if we don't, here's what happened. It sabotages us. It sabotages how we think. It sabotages how we act. It sabotages how we live. It sabotages what we do. And it ultimately sabotages our success in life or business or any other arena. Now, I'm not just talking about some abstract impact here, okay? I want us to make this practical. You know me, I'm all about practical. I'm all about giving you things that you can go out and start doing and practicing today, okay? So this directly affects your life. How you look at yourself, how you value yourself directly affects your life. Other people pick up on it in your conversations. They pick up on your lack of confidence. And then they don't begin to value or support you accordingly. Because, come on, let's face it. You're not confident in you. Are you going to instill confidence in other people in you? Not really. If you're down on yourself and demeaning yourself and always putting yourself down, is anyone else going to lift you up? I mean, I'm not saying all people won't. You got some people gonna come and say, girl, don't do that, homie. Don't do that to yourself. But for the most part, if you're not displaying confidence and you've got a lack of confidence and you don't value yourself, people are gonna treat you how you are displaying. Plus, because you don't know The value you're providing yourself. And when you don't know the value you're providing yourself or how valuable you really are, it's hard to know the right actions to take or have the right motivation to take those actions. Why? Because you're second guessing yourself. Thanks, Michelle, for being honest. She says, yes, I need to increase my confidence. Yes, that's exactly right. Because we should be confident in ourselves. We should be confident in our abilities. We should be confident in what we offer and what we have to value. Doesn't mean we've got to be overly confident. Doesn't mean we got to always brag about this and brag about that. That's not what this means. But it means having a persona about yourself, that you carry yourself, that you are worth something. You are valuable. It doesn't matter. Don't try to put a price tag on it and a monetary value on it, because that's when, you begin to go awry, when you begin to try to assign some value to it. Your life is the most precious thing you have. And you can't put a price tag on that. You can't put a cost on that. Let me give you an example here. I work with clients all the time throughout the week. And recently I was working with someone who was stuck in the mindset in this particular place, valuing himself, and just didn't really think high enough about himself. Primary reason was because when he was young, his father always told him to be quiet, shut up, go sit in the corner. You have nothing to offer. You have nothing to say. You have nothing of value, nothing of importance. So just be quiet, keep it to yourself. That caused him over the years to draw in. Caused him over the years to think that what I know and what I want to share and what I want to offer and what I want to give, nobody's going to receive. People are going to reject it. It causes you to walk around in life with this mentality of where I don't want to even open my mouth and share anything. I don't want to even speak about anything because people are going to automatically start putting me down and putting me to the side. Well, the fact of the matter is the power that were in those statements, because they came from an authority figure, we somehow hold on to them. We keep them in our mind. We keep them in our heart because they came from someone who we valued. We valued their opinion. We valued their thoughts. However, what they said was not the truth. And I have either in this live or one coming up, can't remember, I have so many on my schedule and plan, but I'm going to be talking about who you believe and why you to believe it. Because it's important that we evaluate what we have been taught to believe and by whom, and whether or not that was really for us or really them projecting themselves on us. Because oftentimes authority figures in our life, parents, teachers, bosses, etc., they have a tendency to project on us what they have really experienced, what they have really gone through. And after a few sessions and going through this and talking through this, my client is now able to express himself, able to feel that his opinions and what he shares is of worth, is of value. He's coming more open and honest with sharing that. And that's something that has to be broken in many of us. Because many of us, from childhood on up, have been taught, just be quiet, just go in the corner, just shut up. You got no value, you got no worth, you got nothing to say, you got nothing to contribute. However, whether or not you choose to believe that determines how you live your life from there on, what you do from there on. And if it causes you to shrink back and pull back from what you know that's on the inside of you, what you know that you have to offer, what you know you have to give, then that's not a good thing. That's not a faith, that's not a belief, that's not a value that you need to hold. That's something that you need to cast down and that you need to pull down. And when you can truly see the power of making this shift, and you do this over and over again, you become the type of person who not only values you, other people will begin to value what you say and what you offer because of the confidence that you now display in yourself. Because, it's very interesting because have you ever encountered someone who was wrong, factualized? I mean, just factually wrong, okay? But yet they displayed so much confidence in what they were sharing and what they were saying and what they were publicizing and what they're producing. You had to get with them because they were confident. They were confident in what they were sharing. Now, they could have been factually in error, and grossly wrong. And we've known people who've been that way, but yet they had the confidence to get up and say it. I have, my heart goes out to some of our newscasters sometimes and weathercasters sometimes who try to foretell the weather, and they really haven't done the research, and they really haven't done what they're supposed to do. And they say, oh, it's going to be sunny tomorrow and it rains, or oh, it's going to rain tomorrow and it's blazing hot. Because they have really, but they were so confident when they were sharing the facts. They were so confident when they were sharing the information. You went along with it because they were confident. Then when it didn't happen, or it happened opposite, you said, man, that person didn't know what they were talking about. That person didn't know what was really happening or going on, but yet they had the confidence. They believed. And what I'm trying to get you to understand right now is if you believe it, other people will believe it too, okay? Has that helped you so far? Because each and every one of us has something on the inside of us that we really need to get out. We really need to express. We really need to bring and provide to the world. We really need to offer to those around us who are in desperate need of it. But because you've been shut down and fenced in and cast to the side, your self-worth, your self-esteem, your value, you minimize that. And no one's come along and shown you how to tap into that and bring that out. And one of the things that we're really getting clear on in these times that we're living in, especially in the people that we're working with, is helping them solidify that focus, helping them solidify who they are, what they offer of value, what they have to present to the world, how to do that and how to get that out. And when you can focus on that and focus more on what's already in you, not more that you need to go learn, not more that you need to go get, not more that you need to go do, but already exercising what's already in you, you have more than enough to start somewhere. I posted today that fear that's brought up in the mind impacts our decisions, impacts what we say, what we do, and is triggered by something. And oftentimes, the things that we have gone through in our past triggers certain responses in us to either fight or flight. And it's pretty obvious when this happens for someone, at least for me and my coaching and mentoring with people. I can tell immediately when that response begins to take place. The demeanor changes, the tone of their voice changes, their look changes, their disposition changes. And so I begin to help them shift back into the place of the present reality. And I've seen plenty of people who don't clearly know who they are because what they have learned from others, what others have put upon them, has demonstrated to them a devaluing of themselves, a low opinion of themselves, a low state of themselves. And when that happens and when that takes place, you have a tendency to miscommunicate, have a failure in communication, don't want to communicate, don't want to relay what it is on the inside of you to other people. But God has a specific purpose for you and a specific design for you, and that was never to shut you out or relegate you to having nothing to offer, and nothing to value, or nothing to give. We've all been created for a purpose. And when you can realize that and you begin to tap into your skill set, your talents, your gifts, your abilities, what it is that's on the inside of you and what's already in you and what you have become most passionate about, and you start living that out and walking that out and doing that, you become more outspoken. You become the person you've always been designed and intended to be. And then suddenly you realize that you're able to think more clearly. You're able to express yourself more clearly. You're able to go about your day building the life that you want, the business that you want, starting the companies that you want. You're now able to start creating the vision that you've been dreaming about, walking that out, doing the thing that you've been putting off for so long. Whether it's going back to college, or whether it's starting that business, or whether it's leaving a company or starting a new job somewhere else, or starting that hobby on the side, whatever it is, you become confident that you can now do that. You now begin to show your value and your worth. And when you really become clear on your purpose, clear on who you are, clear on what's in you, clear on what you can set your hands to and start something, you'll be able to create more value, and that value begins to grow, and that value begins to increase. And as it grows and as it increases, you see yourself doing the things that you couldn't imagine. You see yourself doing the things that others never thought you could do. You see yourself doing the things that people said you couldn't do. Am I helping you up in here? I'm glad you desire this. I'm going to help you. We're going to get there, because learning to recognize that value that's already in you can dramatically jump your life months and years ahead into the right direction that you want to go, into the right direction that you want to be. And here's a couple ways you can do that. I'm going to give you a couple ways that you can do that, and then I'm almost out the way. First of all, do some research. Spend some time doing some research. Oftentimes, tell my clients, spend some time with you. How much do you really know about you? Not what others said about you, not what others have projected upon you, but how much do you really know about you? And when we research ourselves and we spend time with ourselves and we really dig down into ourselves, sometimes we find out we don't like ourselves very much. Not that we're not likable. We find out we don't like the person that we've spending time with, and that's us. This is why a lot of people are afraid to be alone with themselves. This is why they got to have all kind of distractions always happening, always going on, because they don't like alone time. They don't like to be left alone with their own thoughts. They don't like to be left alone to think what's in here. But you got to get that out. You got to let that stuff out. You got to let it come out. You got to express it. You got to get it out of there, because a lot of it doesn't really need to be in there. And then in doing that research, observe some other people who you have come into connection with and contact with, and see how they're living. See how they become free. Do some research into their lives. Ask some questions. I've got a research project that I'm going to be doing here in a few days, this week into next week, and I'm going to be calling some people, just asking some questions. I'm doing some research because I want to find out what people really think about, what they think about themselves, the world that they live in, how to make things better for them, and how or what can be done differently for you. So do some research. Do some research about what you're doing now that you can possibly do differently. And if you can't find the answers within yourself, then get some help. This is why I'm a big fan of mentoring and coaching. I believe we need people in our lives to help us, because we can't always come to all the answers and all the solutions on our own. We need some help. We do get stuck. We do get challenged, and we need that help. Second thing I want you to do is I want you to talk to people who know you. Now, this can be kind of scary. This can be kind of frightening, so you got to be very careful. Okay, you got to be very careful who you talk to, because not everybody has your best interests at heart. Some people can be cruel. Some people can be downright mean. So I want you to exercise a little wisdom on who you're talking to. Talk to people who genuinely care for you, who genuinely love you, who genuinely have been there for you in time past. And then ask them some simple questions. Ask them, what do they appreciate most about you? Ask them what do they get from your life more than anything else? What joy do you bring to them? What things do you do that they see are of value or of worth? Ask them what strengths do they think that you have. We had one particular client, when we asked them this question, they said nothing. They said, I don't have no strengths. I don't have no value. I don't have no worth. I don't have nothing. And I knew then, I told my team, we got to go deep. And I had to sign her to another coach that can take her deeper into this walk and into this realm of understanding, because she didn't feel that she had any value, had any worth, had anything to offer, because everybody else had dogged her down so much. So she began to dog her own self down and didn't think she had anything. And after a few weeks and a few sessions, beginning to find out she had many strengths, many talents, many gifts, many abilities, much value and much worth in there. Now she's beginning to walk that out and live that out, and don't let anybody rain on her parade. It's a wonderful thing to happen. This is why I work in transformation. I love seeing transformation in people's lives when they go from what people said they couldn't to what God said they can. All right? So talk to some people, but make sure you're talking to some people who genuinely got your back and are there for you, so they can give you not just what you want to hear, but they're going to give you some good, useful information. They're going to show you some good things about yourself and then help you make some determinations into that area. And then finally, third and final thing I want you to look at is, and this kind of feeds off of point number 2, doing this a little in reverse, but this final point is change who you surround yourself with. This is key. Change who you surround yourself with, because sometimes, and oftentimes we're not with the people we should be with. We're with people that we may like, they may like us somewhat, but we're not really with people who genuinely have true care, concern, and compassion. They tolerate us, not really celebrate us. But when you change your surroundings of who you're with and who you spend time with and begin being around people who are conducive to your life and helpful to your life and pushing you forward in life and making contributions into your life and pushing you to be better and to do better, those are the type of people who become invaluable in your walk of purpose. They become the type of people who can always be relied on to share with you the truth, to tell you what you need to hear. And they know how to do it in ways that's not going to always bang you up and bust you up and tear you down. I also want to encourage you to find yourself a good coach, a good mentor. Join a group. I have one here. You can join my private Facebook group where we help you with all of these things that I'm talking about. We mentor you, we coach you, we provide the information that you need, because that may be the most important decision that you can make right now, especially if you're stuck in a place in life, in your career, in business, and you don't really know where to go. You don't really know what to do. You know there's something deep on the inside of you that you just can't seem to get out. You just can't seem to bring to pass. It's just not working, not happening for you. That means you need some help. You need someone who's been there that can help you get there. You need someone to help you dig deep and dig down into those areas that you need to uncover and discover some things that may be temporarily hidden from you. And this type of person they're going to spend time with you and helping you navigate your way through some of those roadblocks and mindset issues and limiting beliefs in areas of challenge for you right now. Because who you spend your time with determines how you see yourself. If you spend your time, and I heard this a long time ago, kind of funny. If you spend your time with the buzzards and with the crows and with the birds down on the ground, you'll never soar with the eagles. You'll never soar up high enough to where you need to get up to where you can actually see what's really happening and what's really taking place. Because if you're always down and looking down with everybody else who's always got their head down, looking down, then that's all you see. And you need people that can help you rise above all of that so that you can begin seeing a higher picture, a wider view of life and a wider view of your circumstances and who you are. Because who you spend time with determines how you will see yourself. So make sure you spend time around people who push you, who inspire you, who encourage you, and who elevate you. Spend time around people who push you, who inspire you, who encourage you, and who elevate you. You spent enough time around people who deflate your energy, who pull away from you, who pull out of you and exhaust you. It's time to change that. And I know sometimes people have a challenge changing friends and relationships and people you're around. Listen, if that had worked for you and is working for you, then you wouldn't have the challenges and issues that you have. So that is a determination that it's not really working. So why keep going in a direction, doing something that's not working? It's time to make a change. It's time to make a shift. It's time to go in another direction. And so this is why I'm talking to you about this shift today, because I believe if you could make this shift today to move into seeing yourself as valuable and begin walking out that value and walking out that worth, your outlook on life will change. How you see challenges, not as problems, you see them as opportunities to grow, to learn, to do some things differently, to go another direction. It's all about your perception and your outlook. But when you understand your value and understand your worth, you begin to see every experience that you go through differently. You don't judge what's happening and what's going on based upon the limitations of your past. You judge them and you look at them based upon how they will impact or determine your future. Everything that happens to you is not necessarily a bad thing to take you backward. It's also something that can help propel you forward. And so there's a purpose for you, and understanding that begins with understanding you are valuable and that you are of worth and you have something of value and of worth on the inside of you. And no matter what path you have taken heretofore to get where you are, I want you to understand that that road, that journey that you have traveled has not been for nothing. It has been to help you, to grow you, to teach you, to train you, and to bring you where you are so that you can get where you need to be. And with a little help and with the right help, you can continue to dig down and dig deep so that you can find out where you were meant to be, what you were meant to do, and start being that and start doing that. Okay? If you're ready to begin living a purpose-driven life without wasting more of your life and more of your time trying to figure it out on your own, then I want to offer you some help. I have various things within the Facebook group and within the channel that can help you. All you got to do is click on them, or you can send me a DM or send me an email, and we'll jump right on into it and start getting you some help. Because I want to help you minimize and even eliminate all of the trial and error that you've been going through trying to discover your purpose on your own, trying to identify your passion, and trying to understand what you want to be in life and where you want to go in life and what you want to do. I want you to discover that early. I don't want you to be like me and have to spend 20 years understanding that and learning that and walking through that, and all the trial and error and all of the sleepless nights and all of the frustration that I've gone through, and people that couldn't help me, didn't know how to help me, didn't know how to contribute to me. I want to help you eliminate and minimize all of that stuff, because we know what we're doing here, and we walk this walk, and we've helped others, many others, walk this walk as well, and define who they are and what they need to be doing. So I want to invite you to contact me today. I'm just going to ask you some questions, see if we're a good fit to work together. And if we are, we will. And if we won't, I'll keep helping you regardless. So you can DM me, you can email me, you can click on any of the links in any of the videos or posts that I've had if you're really interested in getting some help. All right? So listen, I hope you've enjoyed this today, and I hope this has been good for you today. I hope that you're going to go back through this again, listen to it again. You're going to share it out on your social networks with your family and friends and other people that you know who may also need some help in this area. But I'm hoping that you're going to be able to tap into the value that's already inside you and start believing that and start living that, so that you can really find that passion on the inside of you, so you can start pursuing and walking in the purpose God has for you, because it's going to guide you to the destiny of the rest of your life. All right? So if there's any questions today, any comments, I want to take a moment and address those here. If we got any here, if you've got any questions, you can just post them here. Hey, Russell, good seeing you, my friend. You're welcome. You're welcome. Good to see you. Listen, if you got any comments or questions here, I want you to go ahead and you can always put those in the chat, and I'll address them later. Or you can always send them to me, and I will always get back with you. I try to always respond to all of my messages. Okay? Hey, sis, how you doing? Good to see you, girlfriend. My sis says, is there a such thing about oversharing? And I kind of know what she means about oversharing. Yes, I think there is a thing about oversharing with people who are not helping you. You have to be careful how much to share, what to share with that. But when you're working with someone, you have to be as transparent as possible if you're really going to get the help. You can't be that way with everyone, because not everyone is helping you or working with you along that path to get there. So you have to know when to cut off how much you share, what you share. There's certain things outside of immediate family, friends, spouse, no one should know about if they're not working directly with you in something like what I'm talking about here in transformational coaching or mentoring. But when you're just sharing with a friend, asking them some general questions, you're being as open and as honest as you can, and you don't always have to go into all the detail about that, because they're not the one actually walking you through that journey of transformation to get you the help that you need. You're just asking for some feedback. So you got to kind of know what to share and how much of that to share. And for some of you, that's why some of you have been deeply hurt and deeply wounded and are afraid to share and are afraid to open up because people have betrayed that confidence and have not really been helpful in that journey, and then been judgmental otherwise along that line as well. So I understand that very well. And although I tell stories, I will never share who those stories are about. I share stories for the sake of letting people know that transformation is possible and always achievable. But I'm also careful as to how much detail we share, because many of my mentees will tell you in our sessions, we go deep, we cry, we laugh, we all of the things that you go through happens, but that's the process that we go through in that. I don't expect you to go through that with somebody you just met or someone you don't know or someone you don't have a relationship with. That's a place of vulnerability. And I've got a article coming out this week that talks about that, about being vulnerable and how to be vulnerable and in what situations you can be vulnerable in. We always have a safe place for our clients and our mentees to where they can be vulnerable with us, because we are here to help them along that journey. So thank you so much for that question. I appreciate it. So I hope this has been of value. I hope that you've learned some things and you're going to go back to them. But remember, more than anything, that you are of value. There is value in you, and you are precious. You are precious enough to God to birth into the earth at this time and see that you're here for this season. And so therefore, there is a reason for your being, and that value that's on the inside of you is invaluable to someone else. It is so precious, and someone else needs it. So we need to help you get it out so that you can go ahead and be what it is you've been created to be. All right. Listen, I hope that you've enjoyed this. This has been B.A. Ingram, and thank you for spending this time with me. And I look forward to seeing you again. And until next time, I want to say, continue pursuing purpose, because purpose never quits. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.